Good morning, everyone, from Jeff's Little Engine Service. Well, before we get started here, let's go ahead and let out the crew. Looks like everyone's accounted for. Might be missing one. There it is. Come on out, little guy. All right. So I've been messing with this lawnmower a lot the past couple of days, and I've had the parking brake on so I could start it without sitting on it. And this morning when I took off the parking brake and tried to roll it, it's in neutral. I noticed it's very difficult to push. I was able to push it around all over the place, so what's going on is the brake system is locked up. Very common on pretty much all riding lawnmowers. They have a very similar brake setup. We'll have to clean it out, scrape off the rust, and lube up the components. Lawnmowers even have brake pads. I'll show you what they look like. You ever feel like you're being watched? So just be careful when you jack it up that you don't put the jack on the aluminum transmission there. You want to make sure that it's on the frame. Otherwise you can break the transmission. Just wanted to get it off the ground so I can get a little better view of things here. Okay, let me show you the little component that we're looking for here. That's set up there. So that set up there is your brake mechanism. And believe it or not, inside there you have a brake disc, brake pad, and two little pistons. So we need to take this off and clean it up, lube it up, and it'll work great again. This is a great little flashlight I got from my buddies at Grip Tools. Very bright, and it also opens up. Made out of metal, has a nice strong magnet. Well, hopefully y'all can see that. Got a 3/8 wrench. You just want to take off each side here. This side and this one here. Sorry, it's tough to get the camera it's tough to get a good view with the camera. So once I get this other side loose, I'll be able to take it off the spring up there on that lever. All right, it looks like we're loose here. Be careful, there's brake pads on this other side. So now I can just take it off that spring. There we go. Here's our setup. Get all this grass off of here, make sure there's no mice living in there. Okay, that's your brake setup. And as you can see, there's your brake pad. And underneath your brake pad, you have a little piece of metal that keeps it protected from the pistons. Each one of those is a piston and is actuated. When this lever moves, As you can see, the pistons poke out this other side, and this goofy looking bracket, when it activates, it pushes these plungers against the brake pad. And there's your cute little brake disc I was talking about. So basically, what we have to do, we might have to remove this lever so we can get these plungers out and clean them up and lube them up and get them back in there. I might be able to poke them out with a screwdriver. We'll see how that goes. And this nut here is actually how you adjust your brake pads. This nut here is how you adjust your brake pad. If your brake starts getting weak on your lawnmower, you just give that nut a few turns, which puts a little bit more pressure on these plungers and works a little better for you. But what happens, as you can see, is these plungers get all rusty and corroded. These aren't too bad, but we'll still clean them up. So hopefully I should just be able to pull these out. Yep. So these aren't that stuck. I've seen some pretty bad ones, but I'm sure it's sticking enough to be causing that problem where I couldn't push my mower. There we go, there's the other one. So we'll clean up the cylinders in there, and we'll clean up these little pistons, lube them up, make sure this lever is functioning the way it's supposed to. Don't lose that spring. Chickens, what are you guys doing? So I have some 600 grit sandpaper, and I'm going to clean off these little cylinders, make them spotless. So I have these little plungers cleaned off pretty good. I think now I need to clean out the holes, the cylinders there. And I just rolled up some sandpaper. I'm going to stick in these holes and still some grass stuck in there I got to clean out. There we go. As I said, this one wasn't that dirty, which is good. Sometimes they're really corroded. Put a little bit of grease on these babies. Put them into place. Yuck. I hate grease. Gets everywhere, man. Alright. I'll clean off a little bit of that grease. Don't need that much grease in there. Okay. That's that. We rebuilt it. And just to show you how it works, watch the brake pad when we move the lever. See, it pushes it out. So that's how your brakes work, ladies and gentlemen. And as I said, when your brake pad gets worn, you'll have to tighten this nut here to move the lever in a little bit more to compensate. So let's put this back on. Alright, so I have the spring back on, and we're ready to mount this baby up. Alright, so I have it back in place. Time to tighten things up. Make sure that brake pad didn't get cockeyed or fall out of there. Not too tight. Don't want to break anything. Alright. Alright, let's see how easy it pushes now. Yeehaw! I also want to test the brake to make sure that it's adjusted correctly, so I'll just roll it and step on the brake. Yep, brake still works. Probably should adjust it a little bit. Yeah, I think that brake does need to be adjusted. And on a lot of these, the adjustment nut there's a cotter pin that goes through that you have to take out before you can adjust it. About a half a turn. Now when I push it, the brake activates as it should. I think we're fixed. So that's the brake system on most riding lawnmowers. Hope it helped.